I have a question relative to the issue of the Guantanamo detainees. Congress recently passed, and the President is expected to sign into law, legislation that explicitly prohibits the use of federal funds to move detainees from Guantanamo Bay to the United States. Former White House counsel Gregory Craig recently wrote an op-ed arguing that the law is unconstitutional and that President Obama can legally ignore it. Since you are America's top lawyer, do you believe that President Obama can legally ignore legislation prohibiting the transfer of detainees to American soil?
Thank you, Mr. Congressman. What I would say on this issue certainly is, as the administration has stated, the closure of Guantanamo Bay is something that is part of the administration's policy, and the Department of Justice supports that as well. At this point in time, I believe the current state of the law is that individuals are not transferred from Guantanamo to U.S. shores. That position is reiterated by the legislation that you mentioned, and my understanding, as you indicated, is that I do believe the President has indicated that he would sign that. And certainly it's the position of the Department of Justice that we would follow the law of the land in regard to that issue.
Well, the question I had is, do you believe that the law is unconstitutional, as Mr. Craig has opined in last week's Washington Post? And would you ignore the law based upon that argument?
Well, Mr. Congressman, I'm actually not familiar enough with Mr. Craig's analysis to comment on that, so I'm not able to comment on his views about the statute. Certainly, with respect to the existing state of the law, the Department of Justice is committed to fully following that, and the closure of Guantanamo Bay is being carried out in compliance with that law. And so I believe that it is the view of the Department that we would certainly observe the laws as passed by Congress and signed by the President. Only very rarely would we take the step of finding that an unconstitutional provision was something that we could not manage. We would, of course, seek to work with Congress and the administration to resolve that issue.
Now, you know, does this mean that you think it's okay for the President to transfer these people, who are some of the world's most dangerous terrorists, to countries other than the United States, but it would not be okay for him to transfer them to the United States?
Well, Mr. Congressman, the current state of the law allows for the transfer of certain detainees from Guantanamo Bay, those that after a vigorous review process are placed in that transfer category to countries that after significant vetting and promises of management can accept them. With respect to individuals being transferred to the United States, the law currently does not allow for that, and that is not, as I am aware of, going to be contemplated given the legal prescriptions.
Okay.